Okay, we are going to take a look at the full moon coming up. So, the full moon will be in Aquarius. As the sun is in Leo, Saturn is actually also there. So, it's going to, I guess, conjunct with Saturn, which that would be pretty cool. But the full moon will probably make it so you cannot see Saturn, you know. Anyway, so the full moon and Saturn in Aquarius, it is also a blue moon because it's the second full moon of August. So let's just take a peek. What the flibbity fuck do we got going on? The root card here is the eight. I almost said the ace. The Eight of Cups, and the main card is the Strength card. So right away, the Eight of Cups is talking about essentially walking away from old emotional trash. And the stack of cups that represents old emotional baggage. And, with even with the headstone here, you can see that this is kind of stuff that maybe should have been buried already, maybe even has been buried already, but on some level, she still carries it around with her. And this is the moment when she just says, fuck it, and she walks away from this emotional garbage. And generally, the deal is after you've suffered for something and, maybe you've learned something from it, then there's no need to carry it around anymore. So it's best to just leave that shit behind. That's what she's trying to do here. Now, it looks like it's not that easy as we have the strength card in the main card position. And the strength card shows that it's a task that is going to require focus. It's going to require resolve and will. So it is the first two just show literally setting a will to let go of old emotional crap. Now let's just see what's on either side of the strength card. I'm going to move this out of the way. Oh, God. All right. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. So here we're talking about pattern and discipline. So in this letting go of emotional stuff, it is going to require kind of the setting of a new pattern. And with the Knight of Pentacles showing up here kind of in like a past position, it would show that there has been a new pattern that has been established. And then the strength card is just saying, make sure you keep doing it. And the strength card also shows that it won't be easy to do that. And as it moves forward, we end up at the King of Swords, which is pretty good, especially if we're trying to let go of old emotional crap, because the King of Swords is not particularly emotional. I usually describe the King of Swords as Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek. And Jean-Luc is going to make the right decision. He doesn't make emotional decisions, which is why he tends to make the right decision. And he also, he's not afraid to give orders and sort of let those orders be. So let's just look a little bit more at this King of Swords. I mean, the King of Swords is in a position of advantage after the Strength card. But let's just see more about that, I guess. And we get the Seven of Pentacles. So this is the witch practicing witchcraft. It's learning by doing. And this might just be learning how to be in a position of power or advantage when it comes to this, especially if it's emotional stuff that's been there for a long time. We might not be used to sort of having an advantage over it. And the Seven of Pentacles is showing just learning by doing. So that would essentially say that the more that you end up in the King of Swords position, the better you will be at it. But the King of Swords, not particularly emotional, and especially if we're looking at cutting ties, the King of Swords would be the one to do that. But the root of this is really old emotional crap, and we've held on to it long enough. We don't need to anymore. All right, let's see what the Tattoo Tarot has to say. So we've got these things down here. What does the Tattoo Tarot have to say about this full moon? And there's the Queen of Swords and the Death card. So our root card here is a Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups is about memory. So this is going to bounce off this other, the Deviant Moon with the Eight of Cups and all of that. But here we have a memory and just a specific way that you feel about it. Sometimes it's connected with pride, but usually the Six of Cups shows an inaccurate memory, right? It's when you feel really strongly about something that happened in the past, but time and emotions warp memories into things that they are not actually, they just warp them into things that are not a good reflection of reality. And that's just how it works. That's how memories work with everybody. But here we have the Six of Cups, so it's this old memory that we feel some kind of way about. And again, we have a Queen of Swords in looking like very much a defensive position here, followed by the Death card. So there's lots of cutting, there's lots of reaping, if you will. And this pretty much shows the same thing that the Deviant Moon was showing. Let's see. With the Death card here, as you cut things, as you cut connections to old emotional crap, it's going to make room for new energy, right? And sometimes it's important to, I guess, have some idea of what you want to replace that space with. If you have been full of suffering for so long and you manage to get rid of it, the worst thing that can happen is to have a void within, because nature abhors a vacuum, and the thing that would most likely fill up that void would be the thing that had been there for so long. So that would be the case of getting rid of something, and then it just naturally comes right back in. So with the Death card here, I think what it's really sort of saying, in addition to what the Deviant Moon was saying, is maybe it's good to have some idea of what you want to replace the thing that you are cutting out. But because we have, all of the swords present and the reaping, you are going to have to be on your toes about this old emotional crap. You are going to have to be pretty defensive against it, trying to make sure that it doesn't fuck with you again. And both the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords, they tend to be pretty logical, right? So a lot of the emotion can sort of be stamped down with logic and also willpower and maybe some helpful patterns. All right. And I can see how the King of Swords, too, can be intimidating. If there's something that you have struggled with for a long time and you suddenly find yourself in a position where you are not struggling with it, that in itself can be kind of confusing. If part of your identity revolves around this sort of suffering, then it's like, who are you once it's gone? But that's when we want to remember what it is that we're trying to fill ourselves with after this suffering disappears. Otherwise, you end up in a big ass loop. Now, let's just see if there's anything else that we got here with this full moon, which is kind of lining up with Saturn. Oh, and there it is again. Okay. Well, the root card in this case is an Eight of Wands, so this shows something that has been building and building for a long time. And it's like time to pull the trigger on that shit. Now, there's a message coming down with the crow. This is energy that builds slowly, but it moves quickly. Now, if you combine these two, right? Here is some message that you've been trying to get out there. Or maybe something that you've been trying to say to someone. And this is saying again, learn by doing. So just keep doing it. If you keep failing at sending this message, just keep trying. And this is probably a really good time to send the message, right? During this full moon. Interesting. So that is what we have here. And I guess that's it. All right. Peace.